Welcome back to the Face It Global Summit, and I'm backstage and I'm joined by Profi from Cloud9. It was a close one, really, in that final circle, wasn't it? Are you disappointed with second?
Not really. We know that we needed that game, but like second is really good when we had 10 kills, so like I couldn't complain.
Before that final fight, when you were holding the hill against Envy, you did have a bit of an uphill battle against 17 getting there. Talk me through what happened.
Yeah, they smoked up, and like they're a really, really good team. I think they're one of the best team right now, like from Asia, and they're really scary. But against them, like we were confident we were going to win the fight, but like we knew that Envy was also behind us, and we were also thinking about pushing them, but we can't because 17 will just like shoot us in the back if we go up there. So yeah, it was a little debacle.
So if it hadn't been for 17, would you have got the chicken dinner?
I can't really say. It's PUBG. There's too many players. But if 17 wasn't there, we definitely pushed up on Envy because they were distracted on shooting someone, and we knew that. We were debating to push Envy there and probably finish them.
And what is it like facing a fellow team from NA, from the NPL?
I mean, I love fighting against them. They're really, really good guys, and Moody was used to be on our team, so like we kind of know like each other good. So.
Is that kind of an advantage though, that you know Moody, you know what's in his mind?
A little bit, but. You shouldn't play off other people. You should play off on your own game.
Bringing things back to 17 Gaming, though, I've noticed a few fights between you two teams, and they like to drop at Pachinki as well. Are we going to have a repeat rivalry like we saw yesterday against Liquid?
Of course, if they're willing to fight, then we'll fight. We're not scared of any other team. Liquid, we knew they were already qualified, but we're pretty confident that we'll make it in, so we're not scared of anybody.
And you're now third on the overall leaderboard, so you're not really facing elimination at the moment, so you must be feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, we're going to play the next Miramar. If we do well, then we're coming for 17, but yeah, I hope they fight.
I hope you fight too, but keep it clean, boys, all right? Now, I noticed that there's someone missing from the Cloud9 entourage, and I miss her very much. I'm actually a big fan of her myself. Profi's girl, where is she?
She's at home right now in college, but shout out to her. She's been supporting me, so I mean, she's watching the games right now, so it's pretty cool.
You are like PUBG's power couple. I absolutely love it. I can only think of other power couples, maybe Avenger and Toffees.
Yeah, Toffees and Avenger, definitely.
Yeah. They're number one, but you're a close number two for me, Profi and Profi's girl. We need to actually head back to that power couple, but thank you so much for talking to me. Good luck to Cloud9 in the next one, and let's head back to the desk.
You're absolutely not wrong. There you go. They asked me to be pastor at their wedding. However, I politely declined.
Well, you know, some of us are ordained, others aren't.
I suppose so. I suppose so. Gentlemen, we have our last Miramar map coming up here. And what are your thoughts going in? I want some Toffee's takeaways from the first two.
I mean, my Toffee's takeaways is that the top teams have put themselves in almost a guarantee advanced position already. And we keep seeing the same teams up there racking up the points. That's good news, okay? The takeaway for me is that the bottom teams still have lots of opportunity. In that last game, all the points went to teams that were almost pretty much locks already. So forget about the first two, reset, restart, and have a big game right now. Take that Blue Bees philosophy, push hard, and get big numbers.
There's two kind of approaches here. Either you go the Blue Bees where you kind of just make sure you get into the top 5, get some kills, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each game, or you do a full Envy and you do a big game, 2 big games, because they're still down there. 41 points in 2 games is a huge testament. We've seen in PEL where 31 points from 21 kill game. It's possible. It just depends where you position yourself and if you go for the kills or if you go for your positioning.
What are the teams that you think can kind of encroach into the top 8 here that already have not found themselves in that spot so far?
I think Rangers is my kind of the top bet. I would say that I think they will over time be in there in the top 8. What I'm worried about is that we're going to see some very big teams that are kind of going to be falling out because of that, because kind of their play style I think their play style with them being 4 alive towards the end and making sure that they have 4 alive will punish the other teams that are very much going for the frags, very much going for the kills, because they'll be going down to like 3 or 2 players only.
Well, the 2 teams that are currently kind of sat at the bubble of 7th and 8th place are not far out of striking distance for everybody else.
And they have the same amount of points.
Ents and Winstrike, 71 points each at the moment. And I don't think coming into today we expected them to kind of be in that danger zone, realistically speaking.
Both of those teams implied or said said outright, we wanted to be in eliminations. We wanted to stay warm for the finals.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you boys, but the situation is becoming dire. They're hoping to stay warm has put it to the point where one of them maybe doesn't make it if they keep on the trajectory they have, or more importantly, teams like Incognito and some of the 17 stay on their trajectory because they're putting in big numbers, and Winstrike and ENCE are kind of up and down.
I really love the tendencies we saw from ENCE in the first game.
Yep.
Their positioning, their movement, them kind of deciding to stay in positions where they can get kills. They got a 4th place and 4 kills in the first game. I want to see that continue. I want to see that them getting 4 guys alive in phase 4, because that is where we're going to see the greatest events. Them being able to communicate so well that they're going to be able to just roll over and sweep teams coming from good positions. But the problem is, if they don't keep their cars in phase 3, especially on Miramar, that's where they're going to kind of bum out and the circles will jump away from them.
All right, well, final thoughts before we go into our final map of Miramar?
Beware ye of the OP Rangers. We've got Erangel coming up. I think that they've been working a little bit on their style over there, and they are right on the cusp of knocking a team off of that top 8. So I think if they have a decent match this time and then come into Erangel strong, we could see Korea also push a lot of teams into the next round.
I'm looking for teams to stay together as a unit, move as a unit, make sure that you get 3 or 4 guys into the end game, make sure that you can take those plays, because we've seen so many times have teams where there are only 1 or 2 guys alive, and you cannot win a game from that position.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Time to head over to our commentary team here for map number 3 of Erangel, map number 3 of our elimination stage here at the Face It Global Summit. Pansy, Sims, take it away.
Thank you, and if the last 2 games are anything to go by, we are on for a cracker here. The final one on Miramar to get those points before Erangel becomes the next hurdle. Who are we looking at here?
I think we have to go with what Martin said on the desk. The Rangers are just on the cusp of being able to jump into that top 8 again. Once this is all said and done, there's still 3 more maps to go, so this ain't completely over and done with. But as it was alluded to, the better work you put in now, the more buffer you get, the easier it becomes when we go to Erangel. You're never out of the woods, but still, the easier it will be.
And this is why we worry about Winstrike and ENCE. At the start of the day, they weren't sitting too poorly. You saw Incognito last.
Second, right?
Yes, they were. They were very much up towards the top, if I'm not mistaken. And now, they're not looking so good. Worried for Winstrike, worried for ENCE. The Finns looking a little cold.
All right then, final map of Miramar. This is it, elimination grand finals before we jump to Erangel. Who can solidify themselves in that top 8? Will we see Envious grab triple chicken dinners back to back to back? Or will somebody else now step up to the plate? Everything on the line, everything to play for, and the plane, well, it's quite difficult for anyone who enjoys looting in the north.
Yeah.
Because she is perpendicular smack bang above Los Leones.
Yeah, I'm worried. Any other teams, I think ENCE go quite far north, don't they? Or they split around the eastern side, don't they? They don't fully go that way. But I'll be, again, I'm looking at ENCE, Winstrike, Incognito. Any of these teams, they've been on the cusp again. Blue Bees and Rangers. All of those teams are in the kind of changing spots. Things could move around. We'll see if anything happens early on with them. All the teams in the south probably quite happy with how this is going thus far. They've got a nice little drop here for themselves to get comfortable with. The Blue Bees might be a little careful. Winstrike are right next to them.
So it's going to be another busy one. We saw it in game number 1. When you get a plan like this, everyone tends to loot very, very close by. MP5 this time look like they're just going to grab the vehicles and get the hell out of Picardo, leave that one to Enter's Force. MP5, a team that is down in that 12th region, still very much capable of being able to make it. Circle, she actually centers up. That's not a bad circle.
No.
It's not too far from the flight path.
Oh, please.
You have a very...
If that happened, I'd lose my mind. Oh, I love a Car 98.
It's so underrated, in my opinion.
It's just the iron sight of it just looks beautiful. Uh-oh.
Well, someone did die, but maybe not in the way that they kind of expected.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gone on.
That's going to be a bike flip, surely.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I mean, they are all together as well in the south. That's the team towards the southwest. The Brazilians, they're fine. There's someone close by, so it's not like one of those players who's off on their own, looting super far away.
I'm really sorry to cut you off here. Winstrike have just pulled up on the furthest western road.
This is what I was saying, the Blue Bees are there.
If they get a couple of vehicles, guns, they could create a roadblock. Okay, they've decided, they must have heard the next team turning up behind them. You'd expect the commitment to go forward to Pozo, get the gear, get the guns, and get ready to fight.
Well, this is what scares me, Rich, because it's the Blue Bees. who are near them. And currently, these are the teams who need to get past each other. Blue Bees could do with killing Windstrike. And the Blue Bees were the ones who went crazy, if I'm not mistaken, in Severny. I'm sure the desk will remember this. If it was in Severny, where they dropped in kind of weirdly on a team up there in the north on Erangel. Again, not sure, can't remember, but they're just about to pull up towards one of the Cloud9 players as well. Blue Bees might be in trouble here.
Profi goes down. There's a knock. Job done. Looks for any more of a follow-through. You'd expect them to turn and face, which they do. They give up one player. That's rather unfortunate, but we do lose to players like this on Miramar during the early rotation phases. Windstrike does take Pozo. That's easy for them. The Blue Bees, though, I mean, losing one player early like this, it's never a good thing.
No.
But they now have to reposition themselves. Like, they're going to be so late to this game and so under-geared, you would assume.
Yep.
Really, apart from the little scrappy houses and compounds that you can find along this road, there's no major city for them. Everyone else has got a really good hold on this map and will be geared up. For them, this is just slowing things down from an already bad start to an even worse one.
And especially as we considered and heard from the players, the nade meta. It's very heavy with nades right now. Smokes and grenades are paramount. And we are seeing the shots going out from Leo there towards Nerf. Nerf gets away scot-free for now. And teams, again, it's warding. We talk about this enough. It's to give you time to lose, so no one comes over to your patch. And Nerf's on the move, on the bike. Beautifully done.
You mentioned the K98 at the start.
Yes.
I'm kind of looking forward to, with the next patch that's currently in the testing phase and is live on public games, you have the sniper rifle damage increase. The current one that's gone on test server, AWM no longer one shots level 2 chest, so I personally probably expect that to come into play because it was very, very powerful, or it is at the moment on the live server. But I think it might maybe shake up a few things. We still have these few players that love to use the bolt actions, and they are incredible, not only to watch, but just to see within a live environment how much damage snipers can do. Because at the moment, everyone is just rocking a mini. It's meta. The nades and the minis. If I can
get a mini, I'll get it. An SKS, I guess. SLR. You know what I mean? You go down the list, right, of things. And the reason I love a bolt action rifle is because it can dig you out of the situations that you shouldn't be able to get out of, right? It gives you that, hit the headshot and suddenly I'm back in the game. Whereas, you know, the minis, you might not get enough time for the, 2 peaks to happen, 2 shots to hit. I mean, it can happen. We've seen it enough. But I love the concept of a Kar98, a 24, something like that where you can just, in any situation where it's all against you, you have to land that one shot. In theory, you can. I love the ability to see a player, if they're good enough, be able to do anything. And that's what I think those guns can do.
I think this is a bigger story of PUBG, right? We are still, as an esport, this is super, super early in its life. This is only just the beginning, in my opinion. And there's so many different things that you can do in terms of changes, like with the nades. People are talking about, holding the utility on a belt only, limiting to how many. You don't necessarily have to nerf something into the ground to make it usable or doable for the game. There is so many different micro options that you can do to this game and adjustments that just switch things up. And again, the sniper rifle increasing damage will just be one of them. Profi answers back. A couple of shots go to one player. They essentially overextend there. OMG, a team that's been struggling, instantly losing a player just like that, and they're pushing this?
What is going on?
This is questionable in itself.
Cloud's maybe just looking for cover? I don't know. I don't know what the decision-making is here, because now Cloud9 alone, this Lobes is moving up. Clouds could be in so much trouble. I don't know if he's safe here, or how long he's going to be safe. Lion KK and Zhao Hai aren't that far, but Cloud9, these guys look enamored by the idea of finding Clouds.
If things weren't going badly for OMG, like to continue it into game 3 like this, losing a player so early, I mean, it's not, oh, that's another knock. Oh, this is bad. This is real bad. They're going after them. C9, no holds barred here. They fancy it.
Uh-oh, Clouds. K-Mine moves in. Lion KK has his back. That's Lobes gone, but Clouds predicts the wrong angle. He looked for one, but Nerf found him in the meantime. But Lion KK can't keep helping out. They're too far away. Clouds is lost. And what a disappointment for OMG. They are having such a tough time.
Is it a disappointment or is it a disaster?
I'm trying to be nice, Richard. I've been told I'm very, very mean.
You just say it as it is, Lauren.
And it is a disaster. Considering if it was any other team, right? If it was any other team, you'd kind of just say, bad game. Again, we could look at the likes of Ents, you could look at Rangers. They're not having great performances either, really. But again, there's so much to be said about that. But for now, let's check in with our reporters who are keeping their eagle eyes trained on this match.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We were just actually going on to that OMG point. The fact is, they dropped Kumisera. You know, think of the plane path. The plane path cut across, lost the owner's Kumisera, knowing full well that there's 4 or 5 teams ahead of them. Yet they've just gone in a straight line, straight into all those teams. I think we're seeing exactly why OMG are looking to not even get out of this elimination stage. You know, the #1 team, this is terrible rotations. Whereas you look at the likes of OP Rangers, they're like, okay, let's go a bit further north and swing it in because they know that northern area of the circle is completely empty. Back to you guys, Brian.
Thank you. No, I think you're absolutely spot on. I hate to see it, but when it happens, it happens. Lion KK doing everything he can. He does confirm on Profi. That's a problem for Cloud9. You don't lose out on players here. That's I don't want to say sloppy, but you've got to be careful. This team, even though they look a little neutered compared to what we know of them, they're still deadly, especially Lion KK.
Yeah, as an individual, Fragger is a monster. We've seen what he's done in the past. We've seen his track record, and we know what he's capable of. We'll obviously leave the OMG part. We can see what's happening. It's unfortunate. I think for me as a commentator, it's because I know what this team is capable of. I know what track record they come through, and I know exactly what they can do on a good day. They are a very, very scary roster. Hell, at PGI, they woke everybody up to something that we'd never seen before. The pure aggression, the pure tendencies to be able to just get the job done, it was there. Clearly not their few games so far, but we will roll into Erangel. There's still a chance. Circle updates, and that is a shift and a half. We are going big. Up to San Martin.
Who does this favor? I've got 17 Gaming. Right place, right time, it feels like, for these guys a lot. Beyond them, who does this favor? Who looks good coming into this? Whose rotations do you think can play well here? Is there anyone we need to be looking at right now, or is it going to be whoever gets that nice position quickly, who may beat the others there?
It would be unfair not to talk about 17. Windstrike were up in El Pozo, so then they've kind of been gifting it. They can wander in, but they do have to fight the onslaught of 17. 17 can defend themselves now, go peacocking, go showing people that they are here and this centre is theirs. There's a bit of a hill behind them, which denies line of sight, so you get that safety net. For me, we're talking about teams that are down south. Where the flight path came in, this is a cruel circle opposing that, essentially. It's how do you get into this one. We now need to keep an eye on teams that are going to go for the long rotation. Who takes the east, who takes the west, and where do they pretty much point themselves in the circle on the northern side? That's open. That's easy pickings. Teams will be reading this and saying, okay, no, nobody's up north because the plane wasn't there. So for us, this could be an easy trek.
Bridges to the Rangers. They're one of the teams that could be doing well here. They definitely needed the points. And they've actually just been, pretty sure, knocked on one. Yes, and one player's already down. Looks like it's going to be confirmed, and it is. Pat Caps is going to be doing that. The Rangers could really do without Envy applying the pressure here, but Envy love a good fight, and they are looking deadly today. They've really turned up. The back-to-back winners. Looking like maybe they want another. That nade is not going to be nice for DG98. Oh, how is he alive? He holds back Moody, but the trade comes in from Interrogate. That is now the Rangers looking worse for wear.
There is another story kind of underlying to all these teams. I'm not necessarily saying it's this fight in particular, but there is underlying stories throughout 24 teams where if you're looking at these maps, like, for instance, we've seen the battles for Pachinki. You might get a few knocks on a few players and think, well, you know what? When we go to the grand finals, that's a team that actually loots close to us. We don't want them to make the finals. You know what? Push them. We can afford to do this. Kill them, remove them from the game. And this helps us up in long term. There was a few comments in PL, for instance, with ENCE, with NIP, taking the opposing drop for Lipovka. Okay, for ENCE, it's like, well, we don't want them really to be in the finals because it could cause us problems later down the line. So there's bigger stories at play here where teams might be taking out individual teams in this one to make life down the line a little bit easier.
There's the car rolling on forward. Lion KK still battling away like a madman. Did tag one of the players. I think Long DD was on the receiving end of that for CL, but I feel for Lion KK. He looks a little lost here.
Just in the middle of the road. There's a bit of a sitting duck, especially when C9 have copped for him. A little red ring of death comes through. You'll see a tag coming out. And this is over at Boxing Ring. Matrim will be extremely annoyed that I've used that word, but I'm going to carry on saying it. Fight for the arena.
They just really hate that minivan.
This is more BM and adding insult to injury just to disallow OMG Lion KK, should I say, not OMG, any kind of utility to maneuver from where he is.
It's a bit rough.
The fact that they've been involved in so many fights earlier on, you have to question how much utility does he have, how long can he survive the blue. Yeah, it's a cruel world at the moment for OMG, but this circle, we'll see where it goes. The northern end of this one, if it shifts north, which it's kind of weighted more.
It's got a little north towards it.
There's a little bit of a weight towards it, as you say. Hacienda, San Martin. San Martin, I kind of said, probably pull away from that area, which leaves 17 Gaming still centre.
For me, the one thing I really like about this is that the Blue Bees do get to go towards the north quite early. They have a couple of shots towards them now, but they should be fine. They should be unscathed until those other rotations come around the side. And they're one of the teams that could push themselves higher up with a win or a high finish and a good couple of kills. That'd be great for them. Incognito trying to stay alive. Oh, that's a Tygon if I've ever seen one. Windstrike looking like they want to start building themselves back in, and they need to. They've been quiet. The Brazilians forced out of the vehicles. Nuki has such a good angle here, and he's chomping at the bit. Nade over. That could go so well. It bounces just a little further to the right there. Not the prime nade. It does just about reach Rusty Zera. That had some range on it, but Nuki's pushing forward as well. The Brazilians might corner in Nuki. He's got to be careful. Spots out one. Does he hop up on the side? Oh no! He doesn't go for it. He's trying to play this smart, but he has to be so careful. He can be pressured by all three players.
And I have to question this. I said this day one, I believe. It might have even been yesterday. That why would you rock up to San Martin on this main road? It's literally a pure and utter bottleneck. I mean, not only have we've seen Windstrike... Exactly. Not only have we seen Windstrike set this up perfectly by putting two players across the road from one another to just funnel people down that main road, but you've got 17 who have taken the high ground here.
And they've just taken the kill from them too.
The line of sight that you get from up there, I mean, you play Publix, you understand it. You can just watch all of San Martin from there. It gives you a complete range. Yes, you're a little bit comfortable because you have the rocks behind you and you have that cliff face. But basically, there's only maybe 2 angles you can be seen from up there.
Oh, Nuki. You're going to start hearing those steps. That's when your heart starts pounding, you start getting nervous. OG and Enter's Force looking to pick up some players here, get some damage done again, just try and find a way in. They're not in the circle yet either, they're going from the south, so Ents have heard those shots potentially. Lion KK still miles away, and Cloud9 kept him at arm's length. And I'm still worried about that Windstrike player, Nuki.
I'm glad you touched on him because it becomes difficult throughout the patches. The building that he's in was adjusted. So there's 2 things there. I saw the smoke grenade come through. Not only does it deny line of sight, you can hide in them, but it hides your footsteps. You will see a smoke go down and then players can walk around freely without being heard. In that building in particular, it was updated, so now you can crawl through the ceilings. So rather than just being a funnel going up the stairs, there are different options in some of these new buildings to be able to do a difference. So he needs to be very careful as a solo man against 2 to not be caught off guard.
Rich, let's head over to the reporters, see what they've seen while the game's been going on.
Yeah, we're trying to get in quickly before this circle shrinks. We're just talking about the fact that Airwolf 7 have just took a massive rotation all around. Incognito looking to do the same thing as the circle does shrink there. Ents chose to not even move, so they've chose to stick on the edge. It has kind of worked out for them because the circle obviously goes their direction, Scream.
And I'm surprised not that many teams have done it. It's only been Airwolf taking that long rotation. It did take them 1 full circle to get there. They were outside the blue for a while, but now they benefit from it. And back to you guys.
Thank you so much. The action is kicking off. You're absolutely spot on. It seems that Airwolf 7 could be the one to ruin the Blue Bees' chances if they run into them, but it's MP5 to find the other Airwolf squad. Airwolf 1, as Kato does go down. It's going to be 16 teams still alive, so all is well, but there's a couple of the problems coming in. Jorski's been found by the 17 Gaming team, and that was not the fight we saw initially. It was the Brazilian squad against Windstrike. So this becomes an issue, and that's a bigger one again. Nuki still trying to stay alive. So many rotations now. Airwolf trying to catch players on the way. It's going to be Ents pulling up here.
They have to be careful, as you say. They're in 8th at the moment. They're teetering on the edge. Yes, there's 3 maps still, but they've dropped down a substantial amount. Mikaz, that's the bike. That kind of helps them out. If it had been a vehicle, they'd have been a goner right now, but out of the frying pan, into the fire.
The Blue Bees, this is what we're talking about, Rich, up in the north. The early rotations for Airwolf 7 have worked out, but actually it's going to be Squeaky doing so much damage. That's Envy on the receiving end. Venerated's already got in position, though. Can he try and turn the tables here? He wants to confirm one back in. Mika's bleeding out by the garden furniture as Pat Caps is there, Interrogate is there, Trifeli still in position. Rustamar's gone down to a different squad. That's Incognito joining in. He was a little on his own in the southern side of Hacienda, and now the rest of Envy look on with Envy as they desperately want to get in that house and try and do the damage.
Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. The European #1 seed is not having a very easy time at the moment. That is a response, which turns it into a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, but the problem is pubg was on his own. And yeah, Nade confirms it. This is very tricky for Envy. These are very isolated fights, each of them in their own position. And the Bluebees, what? They just found a kill on Nuki? Where on earth did that come from?
What they did, they committed to being basically an anchor point for Aerowolf. Though they died, and the rest of them was allowed to go through. And because you had an open terrain in the middle, they basically just dive bombed it into San Martin. They managed to stay alive, but only just. They lost 50% in the rotation. Speaking of rotation, we will now have to see the teams that are outside of the circle make something happen. Entus, C9, 17 have been very clever on this, Lauren. They're doing a 2-2 split. They'll leave 2 committed to the front of San Martin to watch what goes on in the city. They've sent Xiao back, though. He might be the spoiler for all these teams that is the current fight at the moment as K-Mine goes down. We lost Profi earlier on. That's the confirmation come through. Entus, they're stepping up to the plate here. There is a response, though.
That's so good, but it might be too little too late. Entus are pushing forward. Kale is leading the way. Nerf goes down. Lopes in the background, but I don't know how relevant he can be. That nade is good. Where is 17 Gaming in this? They're flanking deep here. You can see them. Will they dare go for that, though? That's very risky. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. You still have Yak there, Indigo still there. Nerf gonna find a good confirmation from the grave as Lobes now is in trouble. Lion KK is working his way forward. That'd be a lovely bit of vengeance. Oh, the nade from Yak. Never gonna miss. Great play as Entus eliminate Cloud9 in last.
And all this has been happening. 17 have read it well. They've been preemptive of where the entry point is off the back of this circle because it will force them. You can only go really one way around the back of that unless you're going to rotate through the blue, but that will do damage. Now they're getting ahead of the game. If you can see, they're not going for the circle just yet. They are boxed in a corner. Entus force. Those grenades are going to be detrimental as hell.
This could be all over. Another one comes in. That looks pretty good as well. It just bounces off the lip. But oh, they're all landing as well. Shox finds them. It's going to be surely just one left. It's Yak back against the blue, trying to fight his way forward. But he knows he's outnumbered, outgunned. And even in the background, you still have Lion KK there. He's waiting to strike. And oh, he does it. He's found Monkey King. What a steal from Lion KK. For 10 HP, he's on the run. And the rest of Entus are not looking good. The nade finds him. And that's OG and Entus Force eliminated in 15th.
17 were having a laugh, but Lion KK has shown his cards. They now know where he is and they know that he's lingering. So maybe they put the 3-man stack, eliminate him and cover their back. MP5, however, have set up directly in front of them. Incognito are actually approaching the circle. We still have this battle going on in the background. Xiao finally finds MP5, Leo. He knows that they've been spotted out, but he's also read this one well. He took a very early adjustment. But look at this, the Aussies.
Fong needs to hold him back. He needs help here. Leo's so isolated. He's got cover, but you can't survive against that many players coming your way without some sort of backup. Fong's trying to get a deeper angle. You can see on the mini-map, they're trying to provide. Oh, but you can't provide anything for a nade like that. It rolls to the feet of him. And it's go time for Incognito. A nade comes back around trying to slow down that process. But that's a confirmed kill. Big pressure from the Aussies.
That's only one. They don't know how many more's there. Hence, you don't see the aggressive push-up just yet. They could use that house to their advantage to be able to corner peek. Xiao again from uphill.
No ammo.
Oof. Yeah, that wasn't a reload, was it? It was completely gone. What? How do they just like switch and instantly just tap them in the head?
So good. Envy is still in this awkward battle that happened between them and Ents. I think Ents got taken down to one player, and now Envy are switching their attention to the north. Lion KK finally falls, considering he was being herded around. He stayed alive for so long, and it looks like Envy are taking the fight up towards the eastern side. Same can be said with Aerowolf and CL. They're in a bit of a grudge match there towards the northeast.
Crystal Luster will be getting collapsed upon, though. They've got a couple of players still kicking, so they can make an advancement on AW7. Be interesting 2 versus 2. Squeak is still holding Envious here. He's down to a 1-man ban for Ents.
Yep.
Tixu and Timi still up for win strike. They lost 50% of their men during the engagement earlier on against the Brazilian Crusaders. Circle, he goes to the middle. But by doing this, it takes out a hell of a lot of cover that players had. Win strike, 17, BRC, they all have to make the move. AHQ, they're reading this well. They're sending 2 players up front early to get a decent position. However, it looks like Crystal Luster They wanted to do the same, but the response was there. K3 from the distance, on the line of sight, does him, he's dead.
Very dead. Envy trying to move out here. Squeaky is still around, but Envy know they can't be just being kept in and terrified of one man. They have to consider the long game here, and this is not going to be easy either. Let's look at AHQ working their way forward. They're safe in the circle for now. I say safe with a bit of caution. There's still plenty of people around who could spot him out. We still see that remaining member of CEL, Crystal Luster, hanging around. That southern side, though, is about to get busy as 17 Gaming are working their way forward. YY gets spotted, tagged up, hits the deck, gets the heal off. Who is that firing towards them?
A juicy shot should he have landed that one. He also caught from the back of one of the 17 players. He wasn't having a helmet. They've been involved in 3 different battles now, which has kind of hurt their economy a little bit. It's taken away some utility from them. They commit quite a lot. Squeaky commits to the cause as well. Gets smashed in the back, and I think Envy, for them, it's more about survivability. They've had such a sterling last 2 maps.
I'll miss you. Not the time to be prone down at all. Interrogate's aim is so on point. And now he's got to be careful to not receive a little bit too much back. MP5 eliminated.
Interrogate has been such a monumental pickup for Envy. Really found himself in the NPL on this roster. And everything seems to be going in the right way for Envious to make the way to that grand final. Now they have to come down from the mountain, a little bit exposed from behind. Only 2 players up for Envious, so that might be a potential free trip downwards. At 17, they turn and face the Aussies. They've been caught split, Lauren. This could be dangerous.
It could be. The nade doesn't quite go down far enough, but 17 Gaming are aggressive, and we know it. That's going to be Juicy gone down. Now 3 left standing, and not for long. Shocks absolutely tearing them limb from limb. What a play from this man. Where is your remainder? Oh, it doesn't matter. Incognito, get deleted.
The Death Squad rolls up and just kicks the Aussies out of this map. Good lord. The fact that they're pressing players without helmets and lacking so much gear. Like, talk about confidence. Good lord.
We need to start talking about who's remaining here. We have 10 teams, some far more primed than others to maybe do some good late game work. We still see Windstrike in this. Tixu racking up some kills on the kill feed. And Aerowolf and Rangers still in the circle. AHQ of players nearby. But that road is going to be the death of a lot of these players.
That's nice for Windstrike. The Brazilian Crusaders caused them problems earlier on. AHQ want to make an advancement here on Aerowolf 7. Sees him around the corner of the wall. There is a tiny gap that he can sneak through, but after this one, you do have a Envious Interrogate just lingering in the distance. Probably doesn't want to get involved in this because it will be a 3 versus 1.
Oh god, Interrogate.
AHQ's done really well here.
Wait, is CC going to find him?
Well, if he does, it'll... He knows. He's clearly heard the footsteps.
Oh my god, this is when you're holding your breath, when you can hear your heart beating and you just do not want any of it.
I mean, after 2 wins back-to-back and still 6 kills on the board, Interrogate with 4 of them himself, they've done enough work here. You never want to go down early game, but still, the work that they've put in over the last 2 maps has been insane.
Really is. Let's look at how this one unfolds. That compound down towards the southwest is about to get very busy. We have the Rangers inside. That's a good bit of timing. Squeaky gets found. 11 kills for 17 Gaming, and they're down to 2 players. Both of them 1 on 5, 1 on 4. What a performance.
Another team that had crossed the 100-point mark.
Interrogate shows.
What?
You absolute beast, Interrogate. He's down to 1 HP, but he's done some damage. Envy go down, but 17 Gaming racking up bodies.
From nowhere. How do you see that? How in God's name do you see that little crease of the leg? 17 still going. As you mentioned, they were the one to pick up Interrogate. It wasn't actually AHQ he spotted out, but what a turn on. What a response that was. Smokes will go up. 3 teams here. The Rangers locked inside. Hunkered up just on the balcony area.
Oh, 17 Gaming to get more kills, Richard.
Oh no, they're here as well. I didn't realise.
Windstrike are not safe. They have to run forward. It's going to be who confirms it more than if Windstrike can survive. Shocks. He wants to burn him alive. The Molotov goes in. It's down right on Tixu. He's burning. Oh, someone put him out of his misery more than anything at that point. That's just a kind death, I guess, as the rest of the players trying to work their way forward, picking where they want to die and who to. Aerowolf are waiting on one side, but 17 Gaming just finding more people to murder. This is brutal to watch.
Xiao just lobs him on a bonfire and says thank you very much for the free point. That's job done. Now they turn and face to a second enemy in front of them. However,
the
Until,
Rangers.
He's doing well here. They're fighting this battle to get out of that compound. That's pretty good. Aerowolf, they're not out, but they're certainly broken. How is 17 still going?
I do not know. They're still getting so many kills and so many points. 5 teams stand. The Rangers still have 2 players. That's big for them. They need points, and they're going for it as best they can. They've cleared out a good little bit of a route. They still have 1 man in their way. The Aerowolf player holds them back. The nades landed. This is an incredible game from 17 Gaming. Amazing play. Mental looking for a way forward, spots out Hexagon on the other side, trying to play the game, and he plays it well. The Korean side work their way forward. The Rangers staying alive, getting towards the top 5 position is paramount, but 17 Gaming are taking on everyone. Surely someone's going to stop them. It looks like Winner so far. Shout is low, hits the deck, goes for the hill. Winner sprays in, and finally 17 Gaming go down, but what an absolute bloodbath they caused.
You can take gear, bullets, and bandages away from them, and until you cut off their air circulation, they will carry on going. Finally, it's done. AHQ remove them from the server. The last man standing here for Bruce Elite and Crusaders. They need to make something happen, but he instantly gets spotted. Great work from the Rangers. You saw in the previous one with the pre-fire to confirm the guy hiding behind the containers, allows them to get outside. But now, the road, this is the difficult spot.
Nades.
There's a lot of body boxes over there. They claimed about 4 different people.
He's got nades,
oh
Rich.
Dear. That's a big hit.
Babbo has to be so careful. It landed. Mental's gone down. Babbo is the only one alive for the Rangers. He's barely alive, keep in mind. AHQ are hearing this. They see this. They know the smokes are up. What is going to happen here? That player's gone down. There's 2 teams left. The Rangers trying to get the heal off. That smoke is dissipating. AHQ wait. They spray him wildly. Babbo gets tagged. How is he alive? He's desperately trying to get his teammate back up. Give him some support. Give him some help. The revive comes through. 5 players standing, Richard.
HQ have already had a 3rd place placement today. Could they jump that and make it better? Looking for the win, sprays down through the smoke, gets the tag. No frag yet confirmed. And again, every time you see one of these digits appear on screen, that's the correct corresponding colour. 1, 2, thank you. Job done. AHQ with a huge win, which they needed. And a fair amount of points too. It certainly wasn't an easy one, especially as you saw the onslaught from 17. They give as good as they got right from the very beginning. Battle after battle, they moved through enemies. But with 8 kills in the bag off the back and 10 points from the win, that should be a nice little jump for AHQ.
Yeah, that's very well played for them. I am, again, enjoying watching these teams, different teams doing well. Oh my God. Different teams doing well. Yeah, even the mic is very excited. They weren't able to break out that cleanly, but they're still putting up numbers as well. If you're not getting the wins, they're putting up a big load of points through numbers. So for them, just breaking away at the top of this game. But I love looking at this. And is this an updated one? This is the last match results here. So we can see the points coming in, Rich. If you want to do some quick maths, feel free. AHQ, I think they got 18 points from that one. The Rangers picking up 10 is very nice for them too. That's going to jump them up a good spot here. I'm curious how that pans out for Incognito, they're still getting frags, they're still performing. They may not be pushing the finals, but still, there's a lot to be said and a lot to be seen. So you know what, let's cut it here for us. It's been incredibly good fun to be casting Miramar, provide some great games. But let's head down to the stage with AHQ, our winner from last game.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, I'm with the winners, and in two senses, I'm also joined by winner. This is the first win for AHQ. How is the team feeling about it?
这是 AHQ 在这次赛事第一次吃鸡嘛，现在感觉怎么样？
感觉很棒，现在终于能吃鸡了。
Awesome, finally.
Well, can we talk about that final fight against OP Gaming Rangers? What was the team's approach to that?
可以跟大家说说看，最后跟 OP 的那一场对决吗？
我觉得我们那时候点的情报很准，就是都在马路的对面，然后圈也说我们这边，所以说我们也很幸运的能吃鸡了。
We were lucky that we had a circle, and we had already have all the information about the OP gaming, so it was a luck, but we finally did it. Yeah.
Well, it seemed like a lot of the teams were playing a lot more slower. It's a lot of a more slower paced game. Were you yourself and the team being a bit more careful in that match?
在这场比赛里面，其实节奏是稍微比较慢一点。那你们现在队伍的这个策略是有走比较小心的吗？
我觉得我们现在是想要打得很开，放得开打。
To be honest, for this day, we're trying to be as wild as we can.
Well, you're not safe yet. We're going to be going into Erangel for our next 3 maps. What can we expect to see from the team there?
就我们现在分数还需要一些嘛，那接下来3场比赛你们的策略会是什么？
我觉得我们还是会照我们这个节奏继续打下去，因为这是我们现在最好的节奏。
As we just won a chicken dinner, we'll stick to that pace.
Well, I'm very excited to see what it has in store for you. But before we do that, let's head back over to James on the desk.
That's right, Miramar concludes and AHQ gets themselves the chicken dinner, meaning that now every single region here at the Face It Global Summit has been able to get themselves a win under their belt. Great stuff by AHQ to round all of that proceedings out here as we continue on in our elimination stage. Joining me, Toffee as well as Avenger. AHQ, I'm going to phrase this in a bit of a brutal way. It's about time, considering that they had some potential spoilers. SR in particular, I remember multiple final circles where he had managed to find himself towards the very end. And the day is not over yet. They could still potentially breach in if they have a great time on Erangel.
Yeah, I think one of the issues this team faced is they weren't happy with their performance in their region. They told me that K3 is the captain and Winner and SR both share IGL things. Now, the problem for me is when you've got 3 people who all officially hold leadership roles within the team, comms become an issue. And they verified, they said comms have been our biggest struggle. It sounds to me like maybe they came in today, they put the burden of calls on one person, which he described as playing a little bit wild, and said, we're just going to go along with it. And
nobody's calling anything. But I definitely think you're right here. It's kind of the too many cooks. And I definitely think that kind of spreading out a little bit, if it hasn't worked for you so far, then you have to change up, right? So, as you said, wild, I definitely think that could be something just, you know, somebody makes a call and they all just say, let's go, let's do that. No matter who made the call, it's just if they all think it's a good idea, they're going to go for that. And which is obviously not the most optimal way of doing it, but if nothing else has been working for you so far, then that's a good approach.
When it's not working, make a change. In fact, CC, they said they're a player that they always have to sort of pull back. He wants to play super aggressive. So, you know, it seems like they're releasing him a little, saying, you know what, okay, let's do this. And I like to see that adjustment. I'm still worried, though, because it was a huge game in terms of some good points for them, but I'm still not sure it's enough to get to that top 8 position they're going to need to make the long drive to get into those finals tomorrow. They're kind of in that boat. Another team that I'm starting to worry about is ENCE. Their performance in this game was beyond substandard, and they're running out of time to put those points on the board to get those big wins. And I don't know where you go from here.
For me here, I think definitely Winter and Ace, they're still kind of fighting for that. They need to have a big game to push themselves ahead. There's many teams that are still in like kind of a bitten mid pack.
Yeah. All right. Well, of course, those highlights was AHQ gets the win, all brought to you by NVIDIA. one of the biggest winners as well from that game, aside from AHQ getting themselves the chicken dinner and pushing themselves up the rankings with the points, was OP Gaming Rangers, a team that we've had as almost a trouble case here when it comes to seeing how they can push themselves forward in the standings. Now they're very, very close to actually breaching that top 8 that they need to be able to go on to the grand finals of Enja.
For me here, they were kind of their positioning, their decision-making in the end game here was very well thought of. There are not that many guys alive, but they still managed to get in and out of a difficult situation with only 2 guys alive, where there was many teams. You saw this kind of red brick factory building that they managed to get out. There was actually 4 or 5 teams there before that, and they managed to get out of there alive. So very impressed with that.
As we look at the standings from this last match, I want to point out again, 7 Team, Envy, Cloud9, Aerowolf 1. These teams seem to consistently be showing up on the left side of the board on every single match. I want to give a huge shout out, and I'm going to keep doing this all day because I'm super hyped for the guys of Aerowolf 1. They are constantly putting up points. Even when they have a rough placement or whatever it is, they're making sure that they're average 6 points per game. That's what I think you're going to have to do today, and they're being very consistent, and you got to absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, 6 points coming in from them as well. He is trying to solidify themselves in that top 8. Let's shift gears a moment, though, as we go over to 17 Gaming, because that last game for them was an absolute bloodbath. They were able to, Shox and Shu especially, really putting up the numbers, getting a lot of damage done, and in fact, I think they almost got 3,000 damage throughout the game. It was 2,995.
It was an insane amount of damage. Shu crested the 1,300 mark by himself. Shox not far behind that at about 950 plus. These guys put up big numbers, and they honestly, Shu almost shocked AHQ on that push across the road because they caught them off guard. They landed the first 2 shots, but a nice grenade return from AHQ stopped that push dead. That said, if they had gotten that, 17 might have won with 2. These guys are bananas.
Shu has 2,400 damage himself in 3 games.
In 3
15 kills. That is insane. 15 points himself. That's very impressive. Talk about a powerful duo, Shu and Shox. That was absolutely amazing. Seeing them, they moved like there were 4 guys alive and kind of as a unit and everything. I really love to see that. And especially kind of their confidence they put into the play style play.
Yeah. Duo synergy, name synergy, all works out. Let's take a look at the HyperX moment of the match here as well. I've brought to you by HyperX, of course. It's the X factor of the match. And it's probably going to end up being Shox. There he is, because he was absolutely railing people here towards the end. Poor Incognito at the very end of that.
I mean, we thought Incognito might win this one, and then 2 members of 17 crested the hill and said, sorry, guys, it's time to send you back down under. And they buried them completely with that push. Impressive to see, and it was a masterclass in how to manage Miramar's style of sort of topography, if you will. They played that edge very well, went up and over, dropped back whenever Incognito returned fire, and they pre-spray like absolutely god tier.
Yeah.
They got 8 kills, I believe, after there were only 2 guys alive. 8 kills as 2 people alive in a team. The Incognito wipe, they pushed down to get Squeaky out. I believe they knocked out 3 teams on their way to the 13 kills. Absolutely amazing.
I think that's a really important point that you brought up as well, Toffees, is the pre-fire. You almost always see them when they're cresting a hill, you see a shot hit the ground first, almost always, to then carry it on through the spray as they hit.
And I'll also add to that, they're one of the few teams I see that does, so we always talk about pre-fire. They actually post-fire. They don't stop spraying until they back into cover. Like, it's not uncommon. They'll have the first tap and the last tap because, hey, you never know which bullet's going to be the one. You know, you can ask Atesy. Sometimes a wild spray works out, and they go ahead and they follow that. They say, if I'm going into hiding, I may as well just keep throwing lead at you.
I mean, I'll ask him, but yeah.
There you go. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Here it is time for a break here for the Face It Global Summit. So we're going on a slight intermission before we get all of our teams ready to go on to Erangel. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have our halftime show where we discuss a few things here, there, and everywhere here for the Face It Global Summit. And then after that, it's Erangel. 3 more matches remain to find out who is eliminated and who moves on to the grand finals.
That's a good nade.
Beautiful nade.
Bye-bye.
good nade.
Beautiful nade.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to the Face It Global Summit here at the ICC Auditorium at the Excel London. And we are back for our halftime lunchtime show. My name is Freya, and of course, I am joined by the lovely Scoob, but we also have a very special guest on the desk. It is James. He's decided to come up here.
You meant me, the
Yes.
special one? I was confused for a moment.
He's decided to come up here and join us and give us some of his analytical skills, which I'm very much enjoying. I've heard you in the green room giving us some of your opinions, and I thought, you know what? Let's get him up on the desk. I think everybody will enjoy hearing you. And of course, I'm going to class him as our fourth man, the audience here for the first day in the arena. How are you guys feeling about that? They've been absolutely incredible.
They've been really loud, especially the 17 Gaming fans.
Yeah.
We keep hearing those throughout the day, and I'm excited to hear it. I mean, when I think back to PGI, some of our Eastern teams had a huge contingent of fans available to them, and I guess over the next 3 days, I think we're probably going to see exactly the same.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Chinese fans are always so enthusiastic about PUBG, and it's awesome to see them cheering and stuff.
I've seen them with their signs. I absolutely love that. They're so incredibly dedicated. But we're going to start off, not by talking about the Chinese teams, we're going to talk about Team Envy, because they've looked incredible. 2 wins this morning, back to back. I think that is absolutely phenomenal. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, Envy winning back-to-back. Only NA has won back-to-backs, Shoot to Kill and now Envy. And it's been on Miramar as well, I believe. Shoot to Kill got a back-to-back on Miramar.
Yeah.
So NA tend to like Miramar, it seems.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the way they seized these final circles in the first win of the day for them. Moving up towards the road after everybody had moved around to the left-hand side and moved away from that location where the crossfire would hit them on those kind of fields was really impressive. So they picked the perfect moment to move up here. 17 Gaming tried to respond in equal strong fashion by coming around this right-hand side, because they knew, well, Envy knew that they were all up in that compound, but it was still all for not Envy with some great firing overall.
Yeah, it shows how importance of taking ground is.
Yeah.
Like, they took so much the control of the circle, and that's what ended up having a win for them.
Well, yeah, and I spoke to them after both of their wins, and they were saying the importance of their communications. That was kind of what they were focusing on, not particularly changing roles, but just making sure it was clearer. They were calmer, they were more collected, and it's definitely paid off for them.
That's a great point, because it felt like there was a little bit more of a carefree attitude almost to some of the movements that they were making. Of course, you know, it's a very high-pressure situation, high-octane situation in general. However, watching their movement, and again, the timing at which they took it was just, it felt calm. It did feel calm.
I mean, in that first match in particular, there was one member from AHQ who was almost stalking behind in the final circle with the final 4 teams. Why didn't he take that shot? Why was that?
The reason I think was because he knew there was still at least 2 more teams, which was ENCE and 17. So he knew that he was in top 4 situation. If he takes a shot, he might kill 1, but he's going to die 4th place. And he probably thought in his head, if I wait, the circle was shrinking on the north side, maybe 1 or 2 teams can die. I'm just going to take my perfect spot. But the blue started pushing in, and it was like he started panicking a little bit, and said, I'm going to take the shot, and he ended up dying for it. He could have maybe got it a little bit earlier, but I think it was the right choice to wait.
And SR has been the guy for AHQ that has been in some of those potential spoiler situations. Not necessarily spoiler situations, but surviving situations. We've seen him even throughout the group stage be in that similar spot as well. So I think he understands very, very clearly, despite them not having the best of times in the table right now, when he can kind of find an opportunistic moment to strike, and maybe when he should just chill and just lay down for a while.
Well, yeah, definitely. And I mean, in match 2 as well, Envy looked phenomenal again, but this time against their Cloud9 North American counterparts, which I thought was very interesting, because it seemed like Cloud9 almost had a positional advantage, and then the circle moves, and it's like, oh no, it's completely gone for them.
Yeah, I mean, what helped for Envy there was the fact that 17 Gaming were playing just so aggressively, and they just pushed up to C9. They got like 2 knocks, actually 3 knocks at one point, I believe. C9 had to res 3 of them, but they ended up only resing 2. So Envy did benefit from them, but what I loved that Envy did, though, they were doing a 2-2 split. 2 of them were controlling C9, so they didn't like third party, and 2 of them pushed straight on into Incognito. So they took the 2v2 straight on, won it, and then pushed on 2 and took control again of the circle.
I mean,
back to back.
It was extremely beneficial for Cloud9 to have that compound for as long as they did. They understood in some of the earlier circles that that was going to be an extreme position of power. That compound is almost exclusively surrounded by kind of bumpy terrain, not really much going on in terms of true cover, but things that can be exploited very heavily by the current kind of nade meta that we're seeing right now. And then, of course, when they'd thrown all the smokes out, Envy was happily obliged to be able to take advantage of the, again, I described it as a hedge maze that had been set up for them. You saw them coming around each smoke, and knowing that they could eventually approach much easier the high ground where C9 was very beneficial for them.
Well, definitely. I mean, I know you mentioned about C9 focusing on 17 gaming, and whilst that was going on, we obviously had the Envy and Incognito, yes, sorry, totally slipped my mind. I was thinking AHQ, not AHQ, Incognito. And you guys were watching that as the experts, you were watching that in the back. Can you tell me what happened there? How did that kind of go down?
Incognito were coming in from the far east, and they had to push up obviously because of Blue was circle. And Envy did have that choice of either third-partying the C9 17 fight, which they could have gone into, but then Incognito could have pushed up to them. So they decided to throw some smokes around, block a little bit of vision, and then took the fight against Incognito. We didn't get to see too many angles in that because the main fight was on actual C9-17 because that was the big chaos. The Incognito fight with Envy was a little bit more on the sidelines. It was a bit more back and forth, like just holding each other's ground. But Envy just did an amazing job at it, to be honest.
It was kind of unfortunate for Incognito actually going into some of those final circles. There wasn't much wiggle room for them on either side, and they were looking up a hill against some of the strongest teams in the current elimination situation that we're finding ourselves in. So, but I have high hopes for Incognito. I think that it's been a pleasure actually watching them just kind of rally behind each other and actually get themselves wins, potential seconds. Toffee's almost having to do a shoey. So I'm very excited to potentially see Toffee's do that shoey once Incognito does something later on. Hopefully he makes another bet and really bumps himself off there.
Fingers crossed. I would absolutely love to see that. But we also saw AHQ get in the win on our last game, which was their first win of the entire tournament. And I was very impressed speaking to them. They're incredibly humble people as well. They seem, you know, they're very cool, calm, collected again. I think that is kind of what we're seeing with teams, giving them the advantage, right? Not getting ahead of themselves.
Yeah, but I mean, for sure, you never want to get ahead of yourself. You always want to be humble and collected and have good communication with your team. And AHQ being the last region to get a win, so I feel really happy for them. I mean, the back at home, they're going to be loving that they got a chicken dinner. And not only that, they were like really at the bottom of the leaderboard. Now with this win, they're kind of in the mix. They're still in the lower end, but with a few decent games, they could get in there. And I love the way they played that game. They came in from the north side, and the way the plane was, it was like south. And I was pretty shocked that we didn't see that many rotations come into the north when it did that north shrink. A lot of teams decided just to scatter on the south side and just fight it out. There was only like 8 Aerial Wolves flanking a little bit around and AHQ, and that one ended up winning because they had so much space to work around from the north side.
They had a pretty significant dip in between San Martin and Hacienda, which really did aid them spectacularly when it came into some of those final moments of that game. But just to kind of take it big picture for a moment from my perspective, it's actually, there's not that many points that you need to accrue to be able to try and bump yourself into that top 8. So AHQ still has a chance. It's a slim chance relative to some of the others in the pack, but it's maybe like 20 points to make up. So you've got to do very well in that. And also, just to keep going, because I'm just going to say whatever I want.
I love it.
I'm loving life right now. To see AHQ be able to get to 2 World Championships, not only PGI 2018, where they didn't have the best of times there, but now they're here as well. They're kind of technically one of the prides of their region, I suppose, when it comes to representing on an international stage. It hasn't gone quite the way that they want it to yet, but I think they can say that they had a very respectable performance, even if they do go out at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the teams you brought up earlier was your underdog team, Brazilian Crusaders. Last match did get a 3rd place finish, but the first 2 matches not too strong from them. What do you think is going on there?
When I've watched quite a few of the Brazilian league going on, I'm actually like a fan of some of those players. I feel like they're really good mechanically, like Andy FGS specifically. I think he had the highest KD ratio coming into this tournament. Obviously, he is playing against his own region. He's not playing against the top dogs that we see in here, so it has a little bit easier. But something that I love seeing them play when I watched online was the fact that the way they play together in team fights, they play it similar to 17 Gaming. But 17 Gaming playing it right now comfortably. But they are, the way that I've seen the few games of them, they seem to be going alone, losing one player here and there. I'm not seeing a group effort from them right now. I'm not seeing them comfortable. I'm not seeing them confident. So I hope they go back. They did get a 3rd place, but only with 2 kills because one of them kind of snaked in. And here we are. We see them kind of spreading out, taking multiple fights, everyone trying to make a hero play, it seems, but instead of trying to be collected in a good spot and just take team fights one at a time, not that like rushed in so much.
The thing that I extracted from Brazilian Crusaders when I was, especially especially when I was watching them in the LATAM tournament, is they were kind of more the sledgehammer than the surgical knife. They were kind of just, okay, we're going to charge in at you, we're going to have big guns, and we're going to hit really, really hard. If I'm thinking back to some of the tournaments, the games that I saw in LATAM for Brazilian Crusaders coming into this tournament, they had a lot of those moments against Furia, who took second place in their region, and they were kind of able to pinch them out. Raspu really sticks out to mind. M249 in final moments with a 6x scope on just spraying down nerds, and it was exciting to watch. They haven't really had that much chance to do that here, though, just because the lobby is so stacked, even in our elimination round.
Oh, totally. I totally agree. And one thing really interesting to pick up, you saying that they're going in there and they're being the sledgehammer, right? We saw that in the first 2 games. That team fight was pretty early on, right? There were 5 teams there. But in the third game, total switch. Very careful. A lot of teams, I mean, I spoke to AHQ and they said potentially, yeah, they were being a little bit more cautious, but not too much. But yeah, I think just from all of the teams, we're seeing them being a bit more careful because they're looking at the points on the leaderboard and going, wow, okay, this is important. But one team I feel like aren't doing that, OMG, they just seem to be going in for the kills, right?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with OMG, to be honest. That's like we watched in the back and we saw the rotation they did in this last game where they just kind of blindly went into the warehouse and crashed into C9 and lost 3 players. Yeah. And they seem to be like, I would imagine they're just having complete miscommunication in terms of that, and like they don't seem to be too structured. No, like normally you have the first guy that's scouting and it looks deeper into the circle to find a location. This just seem to like drive in. Oh, is this free? Oh, it's not. Never mind, we're dead. Kind of thing. Like they need to step back and be way more structured. I mean, if they have 3 games, they're really on the bottom of the leaderboard right now. But it's OMG, so I never count them out. But it's not looking good. Especially after that first day you had against them when it came to PGI. Yeah, that first day was like never seen before, to be honest. They had so many points. And we didn't actually end up catching up to them. But they were inconsistent. Like the first day they did amazing, and then the second day they fell flop. So hopefully with that trend, maybe the last 3 games they'll dominate again.
Have that top again. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how it's gone from PGI 2018, where they had one amazing day, not the best of day, second day at all, and now coming to here. The thing that I want to put it down to, because, you know, I might just be a host, guys, but I'm in the back, like, watching all of these regions and seeing how they're adapting and adopting things, is ever since PGI 2018, where truly all of the regions are like, okay, this is really serious go time now. I feel like so many of these top teams have just caught up to the OMG position that they were in. It was, you know, debatable on if it was just a spur-of-the-moment day thing or anything like that, but all of the regions have gotten better, and it feels like there is the potential that OMG have kind of got a little bit complacent about their lofty position that they had before. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it is a definitive. However, when you win a big championship, when you're a world champion, it's hard to stay at the top. It is very hard to stay at the top.
Oh yeah, I mean, across all esports, definitely. Yeah. It's such a true statement. And do you think they're going to be doing anything now? There is only 3 games remaining. Do you think there is anything they can do to sort of change up the game and maybe make it into that top 8?
I'm lost for words for what they can do, to be honest. Just like, I mean, it's play your own game, but if they're having like miscommunication, it's just tough to say. Like they just have to really completely forget about all the games they've had and rethink what did we do right in our league back at home. Like what would we doing right, and just do that. that.
The thing is if you really think about how things went down in the league, and again, pure speculation, but everybody, we took a look at how the circles worked out over in the Chinese region as well. A lot of it was very close to Fairy Pia finishes, and they traditionally have looted around that area to be able to then transition into the circles, which would have given them a bit of an innate advantage to be able to try and kind of round out that league, round out that tournament. I look at OMG right now, from, again, the host lofty position, woohoo, and think to myself, none of their players are confident. I don't feel like their rotations are confident. I don't think their team fightings look confident right now. They got breached by some teams like Blue Bees, for example, in some of the games yesterday, I think it was, and they just fell apart. They did not have the consistency and confidence to be able to carry out those fights.
Yeah.
No, certainly. And I mean, another team we've seen as well, OP Gaming Rangers, coming from that region. They're not in the top 8, which a lot of people may have expected. Do you think that's something that could potentially be rectified now?
I mean, I think the issue that OP Rangers have been having is they have to switch the drop locations a ton. They've been switching back and forth all the time. in the lobbies, so they kind of struggled because they are known for a rotation team. They like taking the specific paths. So when you're switching your drop location, that makes it harder for you because you're used to taking the specific paths all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main issue. They seem to be getting a little bit better these last 2 days. They're caught up a little bit. I think they're 9th place right now to get in the top 8 to the final stage. But Erangel, that was good for them yesterday. They did pretty decent, so curious to see how it goes for now.
It feels like they also haven't found their comfort zone, right? If you think back to the OPG gaming ranges that have played over in the PKL, a lot of their strategies, bar drop spots and things like that, revolved around the notion of we're going to keep 4 guys alive, we're going to find ourselves our center point, and then towards the last 4, 5, 6 teams, we're going to be in full force, we're going to be in full strength, and we are going to dominate this circle. However, during this tournament, that has not occurred. They have always come in either wounded, and if they have found themselves in a central position, it's been 2 people pinched between 2 or 3 other teams, and that is where the downfall has come for them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're certainly right. We have seen them in 9th place. Teams in 7th place, Winstrike, then ENCE in 8th, OP Gaming Rangers 9th, 10th, Bluebees. That's kind of the middle of the pack kind of team. Do you think we're going to see any of those be shifting, or drastically even from the bottom?
OP Gaming Rangers. I think that they now, in this lobby, as much as we've just said this and kind of lambasted them a little bit, I actually think that coming into these 3 games in Erangel, in this lobby in particular, they have a great opportunity to have that little step up. They've already started. They got themselves quite a good chunk of change from our previous games, and I think that they might have a bit more confidence to sneak up into their maybe 6th or 7th spot is what I feel is bound for them. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I think OP Rangers, I think they'll finish strong in Erangel for sure. And I'm worrying a little bit about ENCE. Like, we haven't spoken about them, and they are sitting on that 8th spot right now. They're on the crisp of getting eliminated, and this is #1 EU team. So Erangel, they tend to play better there. They're more comfortable. They tend to have Severny free the whole tournament, I believe, the Severny Kameshki area. So they're going to be comfortable coming in, and I hope to see them perform and go in, obviously as an EU player myself, to be going in, and also Winstrike, because there is slots available for the World Final at the end of the year that top 3 teams here will get extra slot for a region. So as an EU player myself, I want to see Winstrike and ENCE perform.
Yeah, you want that representation, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the PEL as well, technically, I suppose. It would be nice to see some of our Finnish contingent push further up there. Of course, we had, I think it was 10, in fact, 10 of our 16 players from PEL were all Finns, and 8 of those are encompassed here with Winstrike and ENCE. And Winstrike really turned it on very strongly at the end of PEL to get themselves here, by the 1 point, by the way. But still, I think that they have some wiggle room here. They can try and push themselves up, but also I'm a little bit worried that they may fall out.
And to touch on Winstrike and ENCE again, I feel like the reason I believe they might be struggling in this tournament is because this is their first ever global event against other regions. NIP and Liquid are used to this. They already played multiple global events. They went to PGI. So this is the first time ENCE and Winstrike get tested in this environment. So it's good experience for them in the future, I believe.
Definitely. I mean, I spoke to them after the games yesterday. I spoke to ENCE, Squeaky in particular, and we were just talking about how they were in a position where they were with a lot of other teams with very similar points, and he wasn't too worried. I mean, he said in an interview earlier with Frankie, I believe, he was just not too worried about it. Do you think coming into Erangel, that's going to be the big game change for them, potentially their time to shine?
Yeah, I mean, it's only 3 games left that they have to perform, so they're going to have slight pressure. I don't know how they're going to handle it. This is the first time for them. I'm curious what you think.
They're 4 points away of falling out of, well, ENCE is 4 points away out of falling out of the top 8 right now. And when we look at how they were playing in PEL, there were moments where they had spouts of confidence because they were so far ahead in situations that they looked completely carefree, and when they looked carefree, they were completely fragging out and absolutely having monster games. They're not in that position. So this is going to be a huge test to see whether or not they can play in one of the highest pressure situations you have, which is the World Championship stage on Elimination Day before the Grand Finals has even begun. So if they get the reset, though, I think they would do pretty well in Grand Finals because there's not as much. It's a weird situation to be in, I think.
And obviously the points are going to be reset going into our Grand Finals, so it is almost a clean slate, right? I mean, those teams who have gone straight to the Grand Finals, they'll have had a day off now, so they may have had time to prepare, time to watch the games, but we are going to be heading into our final 3 games at 15:45 BST, and I am so excited. I know you guys are too. We're going to be seeing who is going through to our grand final and who will be eliminated from this stage here in London. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you're back at 3:45.